This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5G. So effectively sort of the second generation of Samsung's foldable phone that becomes a 6.7-inch, well, kind of normal phone like the size of the S20 Plus. Now, I reviewed the first generation of this device, which came out not that long ago in February, and I was pretty impressed with it. It's getting even better now. We're going to look at it now. So as you can probably tell just from seeing it right here, the design hasn't changed from the edition that came out in February of 2020. You can still do this nifty thing of closing it one hand. And the beauty of this device, obviously, is it's so small, it fits anywhere. So a lot of people, including myself, you want a big screen phone, 6.7 inches. So we're talking like the Galaxy S20 Plus, but you're not loving the amount of space it takes up in your pockets. And even in COVID times, when you might be at home a lot more, if you have something bigger than a studio or apartment, still you're roaming around, and leave the phone behind because, well, it doesn't fit, especially in your summer pants. So that's the reason behind phones like this. All the luxury of today's big screen phones without the burden of carrying around something. Yes, it is a bit thicker, but you really don't feel this in your pocket. It's not like having a surfboard in your front pocket where your privates are getting an unpleasant kind of poke when you sit down, and it's not like it's in your back pocket where it just might shoot out, and it assuredly isn't protected in the top because it's sticking out of your pocket. Okay. Obviously, there is the Galaxy Fold. Soon, the second generation of that one's coming out, too, for those of you who want the other paradigm in foldability. So this one's for those of you who want a big screen, normal big screen phone that you can fit pretty much anywhere, and, well, it's very durable when it's closed. The screen's protected. The Fold is there for those of you who want something that transforms into a small, medium-ish kind of size tablet. And when that one comes out, not too much longer, it's going to be in September of 2020. Of course, we're going to review that too, but obviously different use case. There you got a big phone that gets even bigger. All right. So not a lot has changed here, like I said, but the most important thing here is the Snapdragon 865 Plus CPU. Now, when the original Z Flip came out, it had the 855 Plus Snapdragon CPU, which for the time, remember that came out even before the S20 family of phones. That was fine. That was as good as it got, right? Well, things have leapt ahead pretty quickly, and a lot of people don't want to feel left behind paying $13.99 for a year-old CPU. Well, sorry, Surface Duo. There you will be paying that much money, and you will get last-gen CPU, but that's another review for another time. But anyway, so now it's up to parity. You got the same CPU in here, the Snapdragon 865 Plus, that you would get in the new Note 20 series of phones. So awesome that. You also get 5G, and if you've been watching my recent reviews, I'm saying, yes, 5G, other than millimeter wave, which this happens to lack, that's that really, really fast but very short range 5G technology. Verizon's primarily relying on that. It covers a couple of city blocks instead of the usual cell tower coupling miles. Anyway, 5G might not be low and mid-band, which this does have, super faster than LTE, but allows for better reception, more signal bars, and better speeds, even if you are still on 4G LTE. So for me, that's a sell. It's pretty obvious the carriers are already re-optimizing their networks for 5G devices and the newer radios that are in phones like this. So it's a better investment than still getting the original Z Flip, which is available for only $80 less. So for saving $80, unless you find one really cheap, leftover stock somewhere, somebody's trying to blow it out the door, I would totally get the newer model just for those reasons. It benchmarks faster than the last gen, but I think in real life most people don't feel like the 855 Plus was anything other than really fast. So that part probably isn't going to matter for you. They both play Call of Duty Mobile and other demanding games just fine. Other updates include with this chipset, you have Wi-Fi 6, which is always good to have. Of course, you have NFC on here for Samsung Pay, for example. And you've got wireless charging. It's 9-watt wireless charging. And you've got reverse wireless charging. So it can charge Galaxy Buds or whatever else, your Galaxy Watch, that sort of stuff. So the creature comforts are here for a flagshipy phone, as it should be. You're still not kind of getting everything, though. So you're paying for the folding glass display. So that's what it is, ultra thin glass. We all know there's a polymer layer involved as well on this, but yeah, that's what you're paying for. And it's a beautiful looking screen. I happen to like the whites on it, actually more than I do on the S20 family of phones or even the Note 20 Ultra. It's just very nice. And the feeling of the display is also nice. It's got a little of the firmness of glass, but also a little bit of a softness to it that's just kind of pleasant when you touch it, not so septic and rigid and hard. Anyway, And some of the things that you're giving up, obviously, say, I'm comparing a lot to the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus because both of them are about the same size and nearly the same weight. The Fold is just slightly, ever so slightly lighter. Pretty much similar footprint there. Well, you get faster wireless and wired charging if you go with the S20 Plus instead. You get a bigger battery, and that is pretty important. And also you get more advanced cameras. We're still talking about the Galaxy S10e, wide angle and main camera. On the flip, there's no telephoto lens, so if you're really into telephoto, digital zoom is all you got. That hurts. You do get 4K video recording and a surprisingly good night mode because Samsung does improve their software, firmware, and all that sort of thing. So it's a bit more advanced, certainly, than the S10e was. And the wide-angle lens is one of the better ones that I've seen on a smartphone. They do a really good job with that. Anyway, you're not going to get the neat bokeh that you would on an S20 Ultra or something like that, but it's a pretty decent camera, but you're still not getting the latest, fanciest camera stuff. So for camera mavens, that might be something that holds you back. You're also not getting an in-display fingerprint scanner, but I have a feeling a lot of you might actually think that that's a bonus. Instead, it's embedded in the power button, which is a wonderfully ergonomic place for it to be because you pick it up, you touch the power button, you've unlocked it. It works really well. There's no IP68 water resistance, but the motherboard does have actually a water-resistant coating on it. So if you watch Boris, the Slavic guy, you watch one of his crazy videos, he fills a pitcher with vodka and he immerses it for like 18 minutes or something like that, and it still works. I'm not telling you should do that, but there is an element of water resistance here, but obviously avoid immersing this phone ever. But I wipe mine off with a damp cloth and it's fine. In terms of the hinge, it's the same hinge as the first gen, which is a great improvement over the Galaxy Fold's hinge. You can put it at a bunch of different angles like a laptop and it will stay there. One of my favorite things to do is actually just set it on the table and not need a stand, and I can look down, I can read the news or whatever. You got the split screen on YouTube, video plays up top, comments or whatever it is you want to see are on the bottom. And of course, Google Duo, for as long as Google Duo still exists, has the split screen function too. And there's a few other fun things like Game Boy emulators. You know, you get the idea. The camera also has a split screen view, and that is pretty darn handy. Also handy is the fact that if you are doing night photography, it's kind of got a built-in tripod. You just set it down somewhere folded, and you can take the picture. And you can use Samsung's voice commands and tell it to capture a picture without even touching it. So that's nice. The colors for this generation are the Mystic Bronze that we have, which is the same nifty color that the Note 20 Ultra comes in, or Mystic Gray. What's nice about both of these is it's a satiny kind of matte finish. Even the outer display on this has a satin finish. It's very bright, very clear despite that. So it's not slippery anymore. The first generation one was like a bar of soap. Oh gosh. So, and not only it looks nice, but it's easy to hold on to. It's also a very light phone, relatively speaking. It's under 8 ounces, and it's a little bit narrower than, say, the S20 Plus. It makes it very easy to hold. So those are some of the pluses for the ergonomic design here. In terms of durability, I've had the original Z Flip since, well, it came out in February 2020, and I've actually been using it, so it's fine. I don't even have any scratches on the polymer display on that, the polymer layer that's on the top. There's no scratches on the back. I did usually use Samsung's included little plastic case, which is there mostly to avoid scratches more than anything else. By the way, one of the ways that they only made the 5G version $80 more is by not including a few accessories in the box. That it is skinny little case. You don't get it this time, a clear case with the little racing stripes on it. The old one still fits it if you happen to be upgrading from an older Z Flip. But anyway, and you don't get the USB-C earbuds, which probably isn't much of a loss to people. In terms of carrier compatibility, T-Mobile and AT&T are selling this. You can get it from them, or you can get the unlocked version also, and Samsung sells that one, so does Best Buy in the United States. And again, you get 5G sub-6, I mean, it's 2500 megahertz, the lower band, all that sort of thing, just no millimeter wave, which is why Verizon isn't selling it themselves, though it's compatible with Verizon, but you won't get their millimeter wave coverage for 5G on them. Speaking of that, I'm using the unlocked model, and on T-Mobile, usually you get all the features. You get Wi-Fi calling, 5G, no problem, all that stuff. Well, on AT&T, they're usually, you know, not really nice when it comes to unlocked phones, and I'm actually getting voice over LTE, which is becoming more common with recent unlocked phones on AT&T. 5G, yes, got that on the phone, and surprisingly, visual voicemail worked. The first time I hit one to dial voicemail, visual voicemail, the built-in Samsung one, self-configured itself. So for AT&T, that's actually a win. The battery is still a 3,300 milliamp, which isn't a very big battery. This is how they make it a small and light phone. So I was a little worried. You know, early 5G chipsets were real energy hogs, but the 865 Plus is a pretty power efficient chip, and I have been on 5G on AT&T and on T-Mobile, and battery life really isn't that much different from the previous 4G model for me. I think it's going to depend on how good reception is too. So if you've got 5G but it's really weak, the radio is going to have to amp up power more and struggle. So there will be some variability here, but I'm getting about 5 hours of screen on time on average, which is okay. It's not class leading by any means, but this is the price we pay for the smaller, lighter phone. So that's the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5G, released in August of 2020. And obviously, it's a beautiful looking phone, and it's a unique phone, and this is a lot of fun. If you see value in being able to do this and drop it in any pocket and not even know it's in your pocket, then, well, it might be the phone for you. The display is beautiful, and by the way, there is a factory-installed screen protector on it now for a little added protection. I hear it as of August 7th that Samsung's doing that standard, even if you get one of the older models now. But anyway, very nice looking display. A little tall in the aspect ratio, a little narrower than usual, but the benefit there is it feels good in your hand. It hasn't bothered me much. You are giving up some stuff and you have to decide if you're okay with that, like faster charging, which really would help with, well, the not very big battery capacity, right? And the cameras are good. Probably the average person will be pretty happy with them, but they are not great. And at this price, and considering it's an enthusiast product, that could be a hurt as well. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more cool tech videos, and thumbs up if you like this vid.